Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rogue Media. My name is Alex Schlerf, and today we are going to be delving a little bit more into some Marvel television. Obviously, the last video I did was a review of Marvel Zombies, which was the last Marvel television show. We've got one more show left this year, which is Wonder Man. However, this weekend on Saturday, I believe it's between 1 and 2, there is going to be a panel at New York Comic Con with Marvel Television, including Marvel Animation, with Brad Winderbaum, who's the head of Marvel Television, and there is an expectation that there will be things revealed for the future of the MCU's television, and the shows that are coming out that we know, maybe some new stuff that we don't know about, showing some footage, some trailers. So I thought I would break it down and let you guys know what we can expect for this panel this weekend. Obviously, if you're going to be in attendance, you'll be able to see everything, but I'm not really sure what they're going to release online and what they aren't, but I'm going to go into that as well when I go through each individual thing. So yeah, let's just get right into it. And yeah, again, if you haven't seen my Marvel Zombies review, go check that out. That was about 2 weeks ago that I posted that. I posted that the same day it came out. Interesting show, lots of stuff to talk about. Go check that out. So yeah, I'm going to go through first off the live action shows that we know are coming out, and then kind of go into the animation we know is getting out, then into some potential stuff that hasn't been announced that they could potentially announce this. Although I will say, before I get into that stuff, I do think that they're going to focus on the stuff that's already announced. I don't think this is going to be something like, LA, what is it, San Diego Comic Con, where they announce like multiple projects and announce the years ahead. I think this is going to be more focusing on the television shows, the one remaining this year, which is Wonder Man, and then the 2026 shows as well, and maybe like announcing a renewal for like X-Men 97 and Friendly Neighbor Spider-Man for season 3. That's possible, but I don't think we'll get any huge announcements, but I'll get into that in a second. So starting off with predictions of what I think we're going to see. Obviously, the first show to talk about has to be Wonder Man because it's supposed to be coming out in December. I don't believe we have a release date for it. Let me just triple check that. For Wonder Man, we have December right now, and obviously there's always a chance that could get moved up because they literally have nothing for the rest of the year. Besides from that's it. There's no movies, no shows. It's just Wonder Man. So yeah, Wonder Man, it does seem like we're going to be getting a trailer this weekend for Wonder Man, and it's probably going to be released online. Marvel tends to start marketing their TV shows, at least live action, like 1 to 2 months ahead of when it releases. And obviously, we're well into not well into, but first couple weeks of October. So that's probably the time where we're going to see them looking at releasing. We're starting the promo for this, and this seems like a perfect spot to do it. Even the main actor, Yahya Abdul Mateen, has been teasing that there will be some Wonder Man news. I think he posted a logo of the show on the story the other day. So he'll probably be at the comic convention. I'm sure they'll release a trailer online. Maybe they'll even show footage from the show, like actual clips at the convention that they most likely won't release online. Or maybe we'll just get like a first clip. I think we will get something from Wonder Man online for the fans to see, at home, and also the people that are attending the convention. And this is just an interesting show in general because we know so little about it. And I know like a little bit about Wonder Man because I'm a little bit of a comic guy, but like for even me as like a big comic guy, I don't know too much about Wonder Man the character. I've not read a lot of Wonder Man comics. There were not a lot of set leaks to the show. It was shot kind of like Ironheart like 2-3 years ago. And we know the main cast, like I just said, we know the main character. We know Ben Kingsley is returning as Trevor Slattery. We know that Daniel Cretton worked on this. This is like there's some good things we're hearing now. You have good actors, good filmmakers, and it's supposed to be like this love letter to Hollywood apparently, but we really don't know what the main villains are going to be. We don't know. I think it's supposed to be 8 episodes. We don't really know what the plot is going to be like. We don't know a lot about it. So getting a trailer would be nice to finally get some clarification on like what this show is and get hyped for it and see what it can be. So yeah, I think Wonder Man. I mean, I don't think there'll be like a main attraction at this convention, but I think they'll start with that because it's the next one coming out. We'll get an official date. And again, I would not be surprised if this is moved up to November because they don't have anything coming out in November. And I don't think there's any big comic book competition either. Yeah, DC is done for the year after Peacemaker, so there's not really any competition. So I could see that being moved up. We'll get an official date, probably an official trailer or a clip or just teaser. And I'm sure that Wonder Man himself will be at the convention, and he actually did some interviews. Abdul Mateen did some interviews in character at the Fantastic Four press conf or the Fantastic Four premiere. So it'd be cool if he was doing that as well at the convention, and people kind of got to see it in person. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, should be interesting to see more about Wonder Man. Again, I don't have much to say about it because I don't know much about it, but I'm really excited because obviously he's a great actor, and Destin Cretton is an amazing creator and filmmaker, and Trevor Slattery is a great character as well. So, and Love Letter to Hollywood with the studio coming out this year, I feel like that kind of show can maybe become more popular now as more satires on Hollywood or more explorations of Hollywood, and those shows and movies are right up my alley. Babylon's a movie I love so much, very similar to that kind of vibe. So yeah, excited to see what they get for Wonder Man. I think that's what we're gonna get. The next live action show that is coming out, or at least we expect the next live action show, is Vision. I think like people have kind of given it the title Vision Quest, but I don't think it's officially called that. But I'm just gonna call it Vision Quest for I don't know, whatever, just clarity's sake. So yeah, Vision. It is a we don't again. This is another show where we don't know much about it because it just finished filming like I think a month ago, and obviously we know it's Paul Bettany as the Vision. We know that James Spader is returning as Ultron. Pretty much every AI that has appeared in the MCU is confirmed to appear in the show. There's been rumors that Tommy slash Speed is going to appear. No, not Quicksilver. There's rumor that Tommy Speed, whatever, is going to appear in the show. I'm like completely missing. I mean, you can say Tommy Maximoff, but that's not his official name. It's Billy Kaplan for Wiccan, and then it's Tommy. This is like I'm a fraud. I'm a fake Young Avengers fan. You know what I mean? Tommy Speed. Speed. Him. He's supposed to appear in this show, or rumored to appear in this show. We don't know for sure. And yeah, like I said, the cast is like filled with just AIs. There's obviously been rumors about this kind of being a third part in kind of the WandaVision trilogy. We got WandaVision, then Agatha all along, and now we're getting Vision, kind of just like bringing all these characters together and then spinning them off and bringing in parts of other shows, stuff like that. But yeah, for Vision Quest at this convention, I find it hard to believe that we're gonna get a official like trailer released online this far out because I don't think we're expecting the show to come out until like mid next year, probably or almost 100% before Doomsday because that's coming out in December. But I would assume mid to late 2026 for this show, considering it just wrapped, and we do have Wonder Man coming out in November, December, and we'll see when the animation stuff kind of slots in. So I would assume this is later next year, so it would be a bit early for them to promote it with like a trailer or a clip online, but I would assume that people in attendance at the convention will get a extended clip or an extended teaser or, a lot of just details from Paul Bettany or whoever decides to show up, Winterbaum, whoever wants to give those details. I assume that we'll be getting some details from that show based off that and a clip, which obviously you won't be able to see the clip unless it leaks, which usually these things do, but I obviously don't want to condone that at all. But you will get a trailer or teaser or clip description from people that are in attendance, hopefully, and we can see kind of what's going on with that show. This is another show where we really don't know a lot about it. It's kind of becoming a pattern with Marvel TV shows, which I like, by the way. It's better to the problem with not the problem. Daredevil Born Again was great, but like the problem with that has been is that there's been so many set leads because they're shooting on location in New York that like when it comes time for the show, there's not too many huge surprises. There's too many huge shocks, and like people can kind of piece together the plot. With Wonder Man and now Vision Quest, like we have no idea. We have a general idea just based on the things we've heard, but we can't really make out like a skeleton of what this show will be. So with Vision Quest, we obviously know it's going to be following up with White Vision at the end of WandaVision, got the memories of the actual Vision and kind of went out in the world. And we haven't seen him since then. We haven't even seen him referenced since then. He wasn't referenced in Agatha. He wasn't seen in Agatha. He hasn't been showing up in any of the movies. No people in Marvel movies have been saying, "Oh, did you hear that Vision's flying off doing this?" Like, no, we have not heard what he is up to. So this show will be learning what he is up to and kind of probably exploring that identity with Vision and who he is now and who he feels he is with this new body and this new set of memories and whether he'll go connect with Wanda or his kids or whether we'll kind of see Viv Vision, which is his like kind of synthetic kid in the comics. Like that's also been rumored as well, I believe. So there's a lot of avenues this show can go, and obviously James Spader coming back as Ultron is awesome. See, like maybe like seeing a clip, we wouldn't be able to see it, but like people in attendance maybe they'll like show a little clip of his voice or a little Ultron look. That would just be awesome because it's amazing that he's coming back. So yeah. But in terms of what we're getting at the convention, I don't see anything more than like a clip or a teaser at the convention. Maybe like we'll get like a first look photo online, like that's a possibility as well. But again, it feels like it's too far out for us to get too much. Marvel doesn't tend to promote their television shows this far out unless it's Born Again, which is kind of different. They've been pretty willing to market that because they're kind of hedging their bets on that with 3 seasons of it already greenlit. So yeah, that's what we'll get from Vision, I think. and I'm really interested to hear more about it because we don't know a lot about it. And then in terms of the other live action stuff, the only other two things we know are Daredevil related things. Obviously, Born Again season two and the Punisher special, both of which have wrapped filming by now. I think the Punisher special wrapped a couple weeks ago to a month ago. Born Again, it's been about a month or two since they wrapped. So they're both wrapped in post production right now, and we know that Born Again season two will be releasing around the same time as the previous season, so it should be March 2026. And the Punisher special, we don't have a set really any idea of when that'll be. Obviously, it has to be before Brand New Day because Punisher's appearing in that, and the special takes place before Brand New Day, and somewhere around Born Again because like I'm assuming that those have to be connected, and I think that Frank Castle is in Born Again season two, at least some capacity. So I had a feeling, I have a feeling that it will come out like a little bit before Born Again, so maybe like a February thing, which could mean at this convention for the Punisher thing, since it's already wrapped filming and it's probably relatively easy and quick turnaround to edit and kind of get that cut together because it is a special presentation, so it's probably only an hour to an hour and 30 minutes. And the shoot was shorter as well. I think the shoot was only like a month or two. So yeah, it may be easier and more realistic for us to see a longer look at that Punisher special because the it's such an easier project to kind of edit up and cut up, and they've been wrapped for a little bit. I don't particularly remember what the promo schedule was for Werewolf by Night. I know the promos kind of changed a little bit since then because they put a little less faith in their TV shows in general. But I don't remember what the promo schedule for that was. But I wouldn't be shocked because of how much, focus they have on Daredevil and that kind of universe if they gave us a lot of new looks and a longer teaser of this Punisher special. I think for sure the people at the convention will get that. I think they'll definitely get a clip or a small little teaser, message from John Bernthal, something like that. I would be shocked if they didn't get that. And this may be another case where they get that, and we, as talking we, meaning the fans at home, get kind of like a first look photo or something really basic, a couple photos or just a quick teaser, message from John Bernthal, like something like that. So to make like an actual prediction on that, I wouldn't be surprised if we got like a little clip or teaser online, but the more likely option is that the people at the convention will get that clip, teaser, trailer, whatever, plus, first look stuff, talks with the director, stuff like that. And then online, we'll probably just get like either nothing or a first look photo, and that's pretty much it. That's probably the most likely thing. And then with Born Again Season 2, it's interesting because, again, it's not too far out and they haven't wrapped for a little bit. So there is obviously always a chance we could get something from that. And again, I think they'll get something exclusive for the convention. I don't think we'll get anything online for Born Again Season 2, especially since the Punisher special might come out before that. I just think it would be weird if they were promoting that instead of Punisher or doing both. It would seem like too much. I don't know. It's always a chance that we'll get something for that online, but there's been set leaks. We've heard stuff. D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox have filmed stuff from the set. Like, we've seen stuff for that. I don't think we need anything like that to build the hype until we get into January and February of next year. But there has been a lot of rumors that Mike Coulter, who plays Luke Cage, will be in attendance for the Comic-Con. I think he's doing a meet. Well, there's not rumors. He's doing a meet and greet there with kind of the rest of the cast. So there's been some rumors that he is going to appear in the next season of Daredevil, or maybe in season 3. And there might be like a spin-off going on with Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. Like, there's been all those rumors, and obviously we know Jessica Jones is back now. So this would make sense for it to be a spot where they reveal that Luke Cage will be back for a future season of Daredevil, whether it's season 2 or season 3. And you're probably asking, well, why wouldn't they do that? Why wouldn't they do it with Iron Fist? Because he's the last one of the Defenders. The reason I'm saying that is because Iron Fist, Finn Jones is not confirmed to be attending this convention. We know that Mike Coulter will be there with the Daredevil cast for a separate panel, not the Marvel Television panel, but still, if he's there and the rest of the cast is there, and there has been these rumors about him coming back, and Jessica Jones is back, and everyone else from the universe is coming back, Punisher, Bullseye, everyone's coming back. You'd have to think that they are going to go kind of full steam ahead with this and just confirm him for this next season, assuming he is in it. So that's something I could see being likely. And obviously we know season 3 for Daredevil is greenlit, but I don't think we're gonna hear anything about that before hearing anything about season 2. So yeah, I think my prediction for Daredevil is we get a little bit about the second season, and maybe we'll get a little bit of Cox and D'Onofrio. They'll come up and kind of talk a little bit. But I think the main thing will be that we will get confirmation that Luke Cage is back. Maybe a photo from the thing, first look photo, whatever, something like that. I don't think people at the convention will get a clip. I just think it's too early for that, but it's always possible. And yeah, so there's some fun stuff with that and some fun details about where season two might be going because we have seen some set leaks, but we still don't know a lot about it. So that's their last in terms of live action stuff. And again, the focus from that end is going to be Wonder Man, and then the secondary focus will be Vision Quest. Even though I guess it should be said that Vision Quest does come out after Daredevil, so maybe like there'll be more focus in Daredevil. So I don't want to say that, but I'd say 1A or one Wonder Man, 1A, one Wonder Man, and then 2A, 2B would be Vision Quest and the Daredevil stuff. So that's Born Against Season 2 and the Punisher and maybe a Luke Cage kind of thing. So yeah, that's the live action stuff. Moving on to the animation side of things, obviously the two things that we have announced and we know are going to be their main focus are X-Men 97 Season 2 and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2. Starting off with X-Men, if you know me, you know that I think X-Men 97 is literally the best thing Marvel Studios has ever put out. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it was so well done in every single way. Not the time to kind of go over that praise, but my point for that is that I'm very excited for Season 2, and literally it is, if not for like Brand New Day or Doomsday, it is my most anticipated project they're releasing next year and even in the next couple of years. So very excited for that, and I do think we'll get a lot of information on that, including a. Oh, and I should have said, by the way, the Punisher special, we'll get a date for that. I think we'll get a date for the Punisher special. Anyway, the reason I was thinking about that is that I do think we'll get a date or release window for X-Men 97 Season 2. We obviously don't really know. We know they've been working on it for a while, and we know I think like production is wrapped, and we know it's been a little bit since the last season came out. It's been over a year, and by the time March next year comes around, it'll be almost 2 years. So I could see it following a similar release window to the first one, which was like a February into March release. It just depends on how crowded it gets with Daredevil and Punisher. So maybe they'll kind of hold off until April or May for this, or maybe May or June. But I do think we will get a release window slash date for X-Men 97 Season 2. And then besides from that, again, too early for a teaser, too early for a clip, too early for any of that online. They'll probably get something exclusive at the convention itself. But we'll get some new details about it, I'm sure. Again, I don't think we'll really get anything online for this aside from a release date, and maybe with that will come a photo. But besides from that, just some nice little teases about what'll be to come in the next season. We obviously know at the end of season one. If you haven't seen it, spoiler: Apocalypse was teased at the end of season one, and potentially with the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse storyline. And again, if you don't know about that, don't look it up if you want to be surprised, because that is a huge spoiler and it's a big thing with one of the characters in season one. But yeah, we'll get a little bit of X-Men 97 season one, and again, or season two, and I do think that there's also a chance they'll announce that. I don't know if this is fully announced yet, but season three, like, the viewership will be good for season two, so there's no way season three isn't greenlit. So if that isn't announced by them already, I'm sure that'll be officially announced if they kind of have that ready and kind of have that announcement ready. And yeah, besides from that, just basic plot details about it, and we'll hear about that from the people that are attending the panel. And yeah, super excited for that. That is, again, one of my most anticipated projects coming up next year, and I'm interested to see where they go with it. There's nothing much I can really say about it because we literally know nothing about it. We know what they teased at the end, and that the X-Men are scattered across time, and Apocalypse got teased. We know that. Besides from that, like, I have no idea. So we have to wait to see what they're going to talk about at the convention. But the good thing is that the whole voice cast is obviously returning again, and we're getting some new. I'm sure we'll get some new X-Men characters as well. So that's a lot of fun. Excuse me. So yeah, and then when it comes to Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2, it'll probably follow a similar thing to X-Men 97, where people attending will get a little bit more than we get. We'll probably get some plot details. Again, I do think we'll get a release window for this. And the big kind of announcement they made after that show release was that Gwen Stacy / Spider-Gwen, both of those mantles were going to appear in season 2, which is obviously very exciting. And there's a chance that we will get kind of the voice actor or general voice cast for the show, but the voice actor for Gwen, which probably won't be like this big name or anything, like the chances that Haley's reprising a role are like 0 to none, just to be honest. But I think we might get kind of that full cast of characters, that full voice cast. Specifically, obviously the one to focus on is Gwen because we know she's going to be in it. But maybe we'll get more of kind of some of the high school buddies for Peter in the comics. We'll get, characters related to Gwen, maybe like a Captain Stacy kind of thing. we'll hear probably more about Norman Osborn and kind of what his motivations are in season two. And yeah, just general stuff. Release window again. Wouldn't be shocked if we get a first look photo online. This is going to sound repetitive, but again, that's just how it is with these conventions. And yeah, I don't think that it'll be anything major because again, the chances are that X-Men 97 and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, although I believe these will be yearly releases now, which is great, I think they will wait for them till kind of summer or middle of the year because March, April, or February, March, April is kind of the brand new day. February, March, and April is kind of like that Daredevil universe time. And I think that's kind of stuck to that until maybe 2027 when Doomsday comes out, and it's harder to convince people that those shows will be able to take place in the middle of this multiversal collapse. That is a discussion for another day. But I think both those two animated projects will be in the middle of the year, so we won't get anything online for them because they'll just be so far away. So yeah, that's the stuff that we know is announced. And again, I do believe that it is very unlikely that we get anything else past what is like I said, the Luke Cage thing could happen. So like that could happen within a show, like a cast announcement within a show. But I find it very hard to believe we'll get any like new show announcements or any really look at the future of Marvel TV past these projects that I just talked about. But if that does happen in the very unlikely scenario, the most likely things would be looking at season twos of the live action shows we've had in the past. So obviously, Hawkeye season two has been thrown around for a while. We know it was in development at one point, but Jeremy Renner felt he was getting underpaid. He didn't like where things were going, and they just didn't really know where to go with it. And that the contract negotiations never really got them to get far into it. But that's obviously one of the more likely shows I feel like to get a season two, and I feel like that will happen at some point because both Haley and Jeremy Renner are down, and I'm sure the creators want to make more. And I know it's like it's an easier show to make, it's lower budget, and all that. I think there was a lot of positive reception to season one, so not even just my bias is showing here. I do think that'll happen, but I don't think it'll be till after Secret Wars, so I don't think we'll hear about it anytime soon. And then the other two that I feel are the most likely, mainly because of the reception and also just the character. Moon Knight is the other one that's really likely. Not really likely. Moon Knight is the other one I think is likely because, again, the show was received well. Oscar Isaac is a very well-known actor, and he has expressed interest in making another season. Moon Knight has not appeared since then, and we feel like he might come into like a supernatural side in the next saga, but we don't know that. There was a huge tease at the end of season one that kind of definitely set up for a season two, and there's a lot of more stories to explore with Moon Knight and those personalities. So that feels like another one where it should be an easy season two. So that's another one where if they announce something at this convention, that would be likely. And then the last one I put on here is Miss Marvel season two, not because that one was received as well as like a show like I guess Loki got renewed already, so that doesn't really count. But not that it was the most well received by every fan, but Miss Marvel is obviously a character that they want to invest in because they had her appear in a movie and they had her tease the Young Avengers thing at the end, and all of that, was kind of leading to something that could lead itself to a season two for Miss Marvel, and that would be another thing where I feel it'd be mostly low budget, besides I guess the powers, but still I feel like it would be an easy show to make, and I'm sure, Amon Vellani was such a treat for the MCU, and all the fans seemed to respond really well to her. And I speak for myself. I loved her. I love her in that role, and I loved her in the MCU, and I love that character. So I'd love to see more, and that would be a good spot to see it. And obviously, I'm mentioning a couple of these young heroes. Like the biggest long shot is a Young Avengers / Champions announcement. Again, I still believe that show is happening, but not anytime soon. That's got to be like a 2027, 2028, 2029 thing. So the chances they announce that at this convention are just very unlikely. I mean, I do think the show will get announced at some point, but I don't think anytime soon, especially not this weekend at New York Comic Con. So yeah, that's the live action stuff. And then like shows like She-Hulk and Secret Invasion and what other live Ironheart, like Ironheart, that was received pretty well, and there was a little bit of a tease for season two, but I just don't see it. But shows like She-Hulk and Secret Invasion, they just weren't received well enough to receive season two. If characters from those shows, specifically She-Hulk, appear in other projects, it will be in crossover stuff. I don't think She-Hulk will ever kind of get a standalone project again. I'd love to be proven wrong because I didn't really enjoy She-Hulk the show, but I did like the character. I'd give that show another shot. Like I'd give another season a shot. I'd be excited for another season. So I wouldn't hate that, but I just don't think it's likely. So that's kind of where I'm at with the live action stuff. At least like the stuff that we know of. we obviously know that Nova's been in development. Even Brad Winderbaum himself confirmed that a Nova show has been in development at one point. A Strange Academy show. I think the Terror Inc. show as well. I've never really talked about that, but I don't really know anything about that show. But we know that those shows were in development at one point and are currently on pause. There's always a chance they could be getting back in development for them and kind of announcing them this weekend. Again, I don't think it's likely, not impossible, especially when it comes to Strange Academy, because Zelma as a character in Ironheart was very popular, and it does seem they're introducing a lot of young magic wielders in the MCU, so it feels like a Strange Academy show. Feels pretty likely, but again, might just be a post Secret Wars thing, might not be anytime soon, so that isn't too likely to announce at this convention. And then looking at the animated stuff, the only thing that came to mind outside additional seasons of X-Men 97 and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which I do think will happen, I'm not sure if it'll be announced this weekend, but I do think it'll happen, is a follow-up to Marvel Zombies. My only holdup of that being confirmed this early is that Marvel Zombies literally just came out, and like that, I mean, what was that? I just said my review was 2 weeks ago, so it must have been 2 weeks ago. Wednesday, literally 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks ago from today was when Marvel Zombies came out, and they did say that if the viewership was good, because the show ended up a cliffhanger. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but it did end up being cliffhanger, kind of set up for more projects in that kind of zombies universe. But I think it's a little bit unlikely, even though they did say that if the viewership was good for season one, they would make more of it. I just think it's unlikely they'd be able to gauge that and announce and greenlight a season two this early. I think we will get more stuff in that Marvel Zombies universe because of the cliffhanger. It seems like people are responding well to it, and it got good viewership. But this weekend feels a little too early. Maybe like Winterbaum will like do a little make like a little short, like spit a little line about, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Maybe Winterbaum will kind of give a little one-liner tease about, oh, we'd love to make more stuff in that universe, and you just have to stay tuned, like something like that. But official announcement, I don't really see that happening because it's so soon since it came out. What If is obviously completed according to them, so I don't know if we'll get more What If stuff besides from the zombies thing being a spinoff of the What If universe. I mean, I guess there's a chance we could get more What If spinoffs, but I just don't think there's any demand for it. Like, I do think there was demand for a zombies thing because that is a very prominent comic storyline, and zombies is just a very popular trope with fans these days. But I don't know if there's any other What If spinoffs that like people really flock out to watch. I just don't know. And then in terms of like other animated shows, I think their focus will be on X-Men 97 and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and making those a yearly kind of thing and making them like old television where you can go and see them every year, because that's what they've been trying to do with Born Again. I think they're going to start. There was a rumor a while back that we're going to try to do that with 97 and Spider-Man. So I think that's going to be kind of their animated focus, besides from maybe bringing in like a Marvel Zombies project every couple of years. I could see that happening, or maybe something like that. But again, I don't see anything else animated wise being announced this weekend besides from like maybe Marvel Zombies, but I think it's too soon since it came out. And the only other thing I put on this list was if they would make room to announce other Defenders related shows. By Defenders, if you don't know, I mean Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. And I talked about this a little bit earlier, but there's a chance there's rumors that we were getting a new Jessica Jones spinoff. The rumors that we were getting a Heroes for Hire special presentation or show. I think there's even been rumors like a Bullseye show. These things are, I'm sure, ideas they've tossed around, and I'm not saying it's completely unlikely that we even have a Jessica Jones spinoff or a Heroes for Hire thing. Sounds pretty likely, honestly, after Born Again maybe completes, or maybe between season 2 and season 3. But will they announce them this weekend? I don't know, because I think that their focus right now is on the Punisher special, Brand New Day, in terms of street level content. Punisher special, Brand New Day, Born Again season 2 and 3, and then whatever happens with that after Secret Wars, which we assume will be kind of a big street level crossover with a lot of the characters, like you know, both Hawkeyes, Echo, all the people I just mentioned, and kind of, people like that, Misty Knight, characters from those old Defenders shows. But in terms of like getting a continuation of any of those Defenders shows, I just don't know if they have enough juice or popularity as Daredevil for Marvel to consider making a revival of them. And again, I think something like a Heroes for Hire, which, if you don't know, that's kind of like a Defenders related thing with Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, where it's exactly what it sounds like. They're Heroes for Hire. I could see that kind of thing being a special presentation. I think that would really work really well, and I'd totally watch that. I think that'd be a great way to continue those old characters, but not give them their own show or just have them appear in Daredevil. I think that'd make a lot of sense. But Again, I just don't see this being something that they have greenlit yet, or something they really announced this weekend. So again, just to wrap all this up, I think the focus this weekend will be Wonder Man, Vision Quest, Punisher Special, Born Again Season 2, X-Men 97, and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I think those will be the focus for this weekend. There's always a chance they could leave some time to announce some new stuff, and I'd love to see that, but I'm just not personally thinking that's likely. I would be surprised, somewhat surprised, if I saw that. But again, it's always possible, and we'll kind of see where that goes. So yeah, Marvel's television panel this weekend. I am very excited. I believe I will be making a video reacting to everything that's announced on Saturday. It just depends if I have time, but I think I should. So keep an eye out for that to see kind of my reaction to everything. And I'll be tweeting as well, probably live tweeting the whole panel as well. Again, I will not be in attendance. I won't be able to give you the inside scoop on all the footage and stuff like that. But by the time I make my video, I'm sure there'll be descriptions online, and we'll have probably not leaked like teaser stuff, but descriptions and photos and kind of discussions from the people that are coming to the panel and the actors that show up, and Brad Winderbaum. And I don't think Kevin Feige is going to be there, but if Kevin Feige is there, so yeah, exciting times for Marvel Television. It's gonna be nice because again, a lot of those things I mentioned, we don't really know anything about. The future of Marvel Television, we know what projects are in there, but we don't really know what the plots of them are, what the premises are, where they're heading, what characters can come in and cross over. Like we don't really know any of that kind of stuff. So we'll be excited to get some more updates on that. And yeah, I mean that's all I have to say about that. Keep an eye out to see this weekend. I believe I will be making a video reacting to the panel, giving my thoughts and everything. So keep an eye out for that. And continue to support the blog. I appreciate all that. And yeah, so I should be able to see you this weekend with that panel reaction. Thanks so much for watching, and yeah, I will see you on the next one.